Hello there, I'm back again. I've just found enough time in my busy schedule. Well, I say busy schedule, I was just having a few drinks and thought I'd make a video. Now, one of the main aspects of the things that I get really annoyed about is that they claim that the stars are fixed. Okay? And that Polaris is fixed, all the stars rotate around them, and that star trails in the south are due to perspective. Well, that doesn't make any sense, because then that means when you go to the south, that means the stars you see in the north are then due to perspective. You get what I'm saying here? Okay? But I'm just going to go through the time here. So I'm going to go forward in time. As you can clearly see, Polaris is not dead center. Okay, as you can clearly see, it's not dead center. It circles when I think it's. In terms of my monitor here, it's a couple of millimeters, 2-3 millimeters away from the center point, from the exact center point. Now, as Mr. D. Marble like to say, oh, I'm just using computer graphics, this is just a thing. Well, you know, a lot of flight testers use this, but okay, so if that's not good enough, well, here we go. Here's a star trail from Polaris, from Northern California. Turn the music down there. And can you see there that bright little star? Look, it's making its own star trail. That's Polaris. So that pretty much shows that Polaris is not the exact center point. Polaris is not fixed. Polaris also moves. And as hundreds of or thousands of years go by, Polaris will probably be over here somewhere. It's just how it goes. Just how the cosmos works, unfortunately. See if there's any other version of it. There we go. See, there's Polaris making its own star trail. So saying Polaris is fixed to the sky and the stars rotate around Polaris is demonstrably false. And that's something that they need to stop. See, look at that. It's making it'll make a full circle eventually. Okay? So let's just go into, let's say, the southern star trails. Okay? Here are the southern star trails in Patagonia. Now, should I even try and pronounce this? It's Futaleufú River, all the way down in Patagonia, or Patagonian area. It's in Chile. Okay, so it's the bottom end, but as you can clearly see, it's well below the equator, so it's really far in the southern hemisphere. Okay? This is the star trail that it provides. There's a center point, there's no star on the center point. Flat earthers like to claim that this is due to perspective, but they have no evidence of that. How can perspective make them, especially these, very close? How is it possible that perspective is causing the ones very close to the center point to circle around? That makes very little sense, and it's something that's not thought through at all. Okay, let's go back here. I'm going to show the Milky Way spiral bit there, okay, and that will come apparent later. Now, these are star trails in Mount John in Lake Tekapo in New Zealand. Now, where's Lake Tekapo in New Zealand? All the way down here. As you can clearly see, the distance from New Zealand to Chile is quite a considerable distance. Okay, even this way. So you're going around the other end. You're going east. Okay, I hope I got that right. Otherwise, it's going to be embarrassing. It's quite a considerable distance, and it's a fair distance from South Africa. Okay. Let's go back to the star trails. Our star trails. There we go. Another point. Now this is New Zealand, not Chile, where the same stars are rotating around the same point. As you can clearly tell, this is not Polaris or anything, because there's no bright star anywhere near the center. But this is going to choose apparent at the moment. I'm going to show this video first. So these videos are taken in Goma and Lake Kivu over Virunga National Park. Some are taken on there, but I think the one I've chosen is in Virunga National Park. But they are still in the same area. So Virunga National Park is in Africa. I think it's in the Dominican Republic of Congo. As you can clearly tell, it's pretty much bang on the equator. Probably in the northern hemisphere slightly. And I would like to point out also that these stars are rotating clockwise. Something that the northern hemisphere trails don't do. Okay. So these are in the Dominican Republic of Congo. Turn them music down again. As you can see, they're still rotating clockwise, and as you can clearly tell, which is consistent with them being on the equator or just above the southern hemisphere, the center point is below the horizon. Only just slightly. Only just very slightly. Like I said, you know, this image here is just an estimate on where he took them from. He said Gamo, I think, in some places. City of Gamo. And the city of Gamo is below the so it depends where some of these were taken, but they're roughly from the same place. Now, what I like to point out in some of the consistencies of this video is this little thing here, the Milky Way. Specifically, this little thing here. That either looks like a thumbs up or a little teapot. Okay, now here it is on this video. Okay, in the little Milky Way spiral there. There it is in this video. It's upside down now, but that's because it's different orientation, because obviously there are different parts of the world, so night will be, the stars will be in a different orientation when nighttime reaches their part of the world. But as you can see, the rotation fits. Rotate that 180 degrees. This is now pointing to the right. Rotate it 180 degrees, it'll then be pointing to the left, which is what it's doing here. And pointing downwards, obviously, as well. And you can clearly see here is the time lapse. Here is that same little teapot thumbs up image in the image from the Congo. So I would like to stress, you are looking at the same stars, the exact same stars. Okay? There's nothing to do with perspective going on here at all. So, in terms of the Gleason's map, okay, which for some reason Flat Earth Arsehole seems to be debunking at this present moment, whatever, okay, how is it possible to see the same stars from here? Oh, where did I go? Mount John, New Zealand. I think I was doing 2.5 hours. Here. And here. So that's this bit. That's Africa, Chile, and New Zealand. As you can clearly tell, they're quite a considerable amount apart. But what I'd like to point out, which is the one thing that doesn't solve this perspective idea that flat earthers seem to have, is that the center point throughout the night does not move, which is the entire reason how you can get circular star trails to begin with. If this was due to perspective and at the dome turning and all this kind of stuff, you'd see the center point move. But the center point remains in the exact same point every single night, and throughout the night and every single night beyond. Now let's just do a little bit of pinpointing. So there's the little teapot shape. The center point is below that. All right. Okay. So let's do a bit of predictive measures here. Let's just say that the center point is going to be around about here. And there we go, pretty much bang on where I said it would be. Let's do the same with this. The center point is going to be center point is going to be around down here. So there we are, it's around down here somewhere. See, around about down there. Got that one a little off, but it's a different image anyway. But hey, see, so these things, and they, like I said, the star trails, the center point stays the same the entire night, and they are the same stars, which is an impossibility if you're talking about the dome here. So somehow this has got to transition all through the night from Patagonia. Okay. I'm just doing this in there. There's no day and night sequence here. So let's just say, for example, this has got to transition all day and all night. Let's put the volume down. From this star trail that doesn't move, and then somebody in New Zealand or South Africa, right, this is New Zealand, can then literally look in the exact same direction as the stars that they're seeing in Chile and be able to predict where it's going to be. During the day, I could, if I went down to New Zealand, okay, now during midday, if I pointed my camera using measurements and things that are used by science, okay, and the physics, you know, the one thing that they claim that we're being taught in schools that are lying to us and all this kind of fucking paranoid bullshit, using those, I could, within reason, basically, within margin of error, pinpoint exactly where the center point is going to be. Or the center point is, because, you know, it doesn't move. Now, I would like to point out that another bit of information I've watched, thanks to a documentary that I've been watching, that Edmund Halley, a scientist called Edmund Halley, back many, many years ago, who befriended Newton. Okay, so you know Newton, the guy who theorized the existence of gravity, and it's something that's still used to this day, even though apparently flat earthers have debunked it somehow. How they've done that, I haven't got a clue. Edmund Halley was an incredible human being. Okay? Edmund Halley did many things. Now, flat earthers like to claim that the stars have been fixed since the dawn of time, ever since we've been calculating the stars. However, that's not true. Edmund Halley compared his star charts, which he created over many, many years, okay, and compared them to star charts of the ancient Greeks produced over 1,800 years before Edmund Halley's time, and that many of the stars do in fact move. Now, I'm not talking about the planets here, or the wandering stars, as many people like to call them. Just some of the brightest stars on the sky do move, and that Polaris itself has moved across the sky as time goes on. Okay? Now, explain to me, flat earthers, okay, that if our physics and our understanding of the cosmos is wrong, okay, Edmund Halley, using the mathematics that Newton provided, when he noted where all the Halley's Comet, okay, using the mathematics done by Newton and everything, he managed to predict the exact path that it was going to take, and the next time it came around, and where exactly in the sky it would be. And then 50 years or so later, after his death, I believe Captain Cook took up this challenge. Oh no! All right, saying. Let me backtrack a little bit here. But I am right in saying that that his calculations turned out to be completely correct, and that managed to find out that many of the comets seen throughout the years were actually the same one, which is the famous name Halley's Comet, which was named after him, which is quite odd, even though Edmund Halley didn't actually discover it. But he managed to predict its motions, which is probably why he thinks. Now, Edmund Halley did many other things. Was using the mathematics of Newton again. Managed to predict, the orbit and the size and how far away Mercury was. And he missed his chances through several times, and he then, using his mathematical predictions on when it will pass the sun, many years later somebody else took up the challenge, and lo and behold, Mercury passed in front of the sun when it was predicted, and they managed to, as the time passed, when Mercury was able to pass in front of the sun, they were able to determine how fast it was going, then determine how far it was away, and then, very inaccuracy, Edmund Halley was correct with many of his assumptions. So, I would like flat earthers to come up with any sort of base here for any sort of evidence or proof. Before that happens, they haven't got a leg to stand on. And what pisses me off more than anything about this, and it's starting to put me into a rage slightly, which is why I've stopped doing a lot of videos, is that flat earthers are now shitting on thousands of years worth of scientific progression, thousands of years worth of astronomical progression and understanding, because they think they're being lied to because conspiracy. And that's all they have, is the conspiracy. They have no evidence of its existence. That's it. Is this just their paranoia that they're being lied to because their life probably didn't fucking turn out the way they fucking planned, so they have to blame somebody else for it. Okay, that's me going a bit angry there, but hey. So, as I can clearly shown you here by all the star trails that are provided, Polaris is not fixed. You can see the same time-lapse star trails from New Zealand, from South Africa, or let's say Africa, but and from Chile. And that they all match up exactly what the globe model has said. So, Globebusters, try your fucking best. Bullshit as much as you want. Lie through your teeth as much as you want. You're not fucking going to convince me. Alright? You might attack fucking Slice Barcane and everybody else as much as you fucking want, but you're not convincing me. Do you understand? You can attack him because, let's face it, Slice Barcane has done very accurate research over the last short while that I can back up, even though my mathematical skills aren't exactly great. And his are just based off knowledge. Like, Slice Barcane's research is videos are based off solid research, the maths and the physics, and tested and tried and, proven right. Everything that Globebusters do is all based on their assumptions and opinions. That's it. Jeranism is the master of, well, this doesn't make sense to me, so therefore something's wrong. Or, this doesn't make sense on the globe Earth, but it definitely makes sense on the flat Earth. Insert no reason here at all. Alright, so that's me done for today. Have a good night, and I'll see you again.